even started drinking yet.
Bing,
Jesus.
bing, bing, bing. 2, 4, 8, 16, 34, 75, 110 viewers. This is going to be a best show ever.
Hey guys, you picked a bad night to come visit.
All right. Here. Okay. Let's see how bad's the sound.
Good so far.
Can it get some slap?
Are you getting it?
Yeah, it's loud.
That started. Yeah.
Okay. Here, just check this out. Alexa, play the podcast We Like Drinking.
I love that show.
Yeah, it's pretty great, isn't it?
Do you think John will tell another story?
I don't know, but could we get to it?
Someone needs some smoked whale testicles.
Alexa, just play it.
Getting the latest episode of We Like Drinking. Here it is in all its glory.
How'd you do that?
He programmed it to say that.
Like, did you set that up? So, because I was going to ask you, Jeff, I just saw, or I was listening to this podcast that had mentioned there's a bunch of videos out now about how to program a specific Alexa skill for your podcast.
Oh, really?
So where instead of like, play the podcast We Like Drinking, like you should be able to just say, Alexa, enable We Like Drinking, and then you can tell it to skip forward, to go back to, and then when you tell it to stop, it'll tell you, okay, to pick up where you left off, all you have to say now is resume. Like,
okay.
You should be able to do stuff like that. Like, look up, of course we're live. Hey, everybody. Dave Jackson does the School of Podcasting, and I think he just put a video out about setting up an Alexa skill for your podcast.
Okay.
So check that. And then I was going to ask you, are we on Spotify?
Are we on Spotify?
We should be able to get on Spotify through.
Don't think we're on Spotify.
I think we should be able to get on it through Libsyn.
It's possible, but Spotify, like most places, this really isn't a conversation for the live thing, but they have to approve you to be on, whereas most places you just submit and you get on it. But Spotify wants like shows that are really geared towards millennials and usually more tech stuff and right. But I could submit us to it.
Because the thing is, it's like, if people already know how to use Spotify and they use it all the time, it's just,
Yeah. There's, there's so damn many of them.
I know, but that's
Yeah.
Like that, I think that is something, and like I don't know if we're on iHeartRadio or whatever.
We're on iHeartRadio. Okay. We're on iHeartRadio. We're on Stitcher. We're on Player FM.
Does Pandora do podcasts?
They do, but it's like This American Life is like the only one I think that's on it right now. I think they're still kind of like feeling it out.
So there's real estate to be had.
If you can get in. They haven't really. The last time I looked for how to get on Pandora, there was no like, this is how you get your podcast on Pandora.
What if we sent them an eco vessel? Would that sweeten the deal? An eco vessel ground.
I don't know.
Cigarettes.
Pandora, an award-winning podcast, no less.
Pandora, if you're listening, how do we get on?
Hey, I was going to ask real quick. I know we have 2 eco vessels to give away. Are they both eco vessel bosses?
Yes.
Okay. So I want to make sure that I say that. And then, are you cool with the parameters of what I put on that thing? Like what they need to do? I said just share with us a screenshot of your review on your favorite podcast app. Most of our listeners are listening on iTunes, so it just makes sense. For folks that have already given us reviews, that's their opportunity to just send a screen grab of it and share it. But then also it would encourage people to rate us and review us on other apps also. That's my feeling.
36 hours, not 32 hours.
Oh, same difference. Shit. Motherfucker. All right.
Man, of all the weeks that I hit the record button early.
Yeah. So hey guys,
we're at 200 listeners now. 200 viewers.
I think now's the time that we share our social security numbers.
I think so. I think that's what's up next. If you want to get on the action, take a screenshot of your honest review of your podcast on your favorite podcast app, whichever one you use, and share it with us on your favorite social media platform, Facebook, Insta, Twitter, with the hashtag #EcoVessel. If you haven't reviewed us yet, get on it. If you want to do it again, review us on that. Just make sure to share it. EcoVessel. Sure, man. Works for me.
Okay.
Patreons, you're automatically entered. So
Yeah. And I'm leaving that to you to remind Patreons after I run out of air.
okay.
It's a little wordy.
It is a little wordy, but
It's to try to mitigate the ums.
all right. You guys all set then?
Yeah. Have you opened any of your beers yet?
I have
You
not
started-
opened any of them yet.
Okay.
I should probably get a bottle opener.
I think what I'll do is I'll start. I got 3. How many do you have?
I have 2, but one is in 6-pack variety. So if I need 3, I can go get a third.
No, and there's no way I could. Like, I've got 3 bombers, right? But I think what I'll do is the first one is the one I'm probably most familiar with, and I think I'll just start already drinking that one. So like, you know, I can get that one out of the way pretty quick, and also so I can get nice and loose.
grease those wheels.
Yeah, man.
Is tomorrow a school holiday?
They're doing a lab. It's all right, but I don't need to be on my toes.
They're only working with natural gas.
Oh my goodness. Well, if they're not careful, I might create some natural gas. Be like, oh shit.
Make it sound like my hand.
Oh, come on, that's nasty.
Well,
I can take this off if you want, Jeff.
No, come on. Your hand looking better?
I mean, compared to what it was, yeah, but
Man. You had like that volleyball tape on your hand last week, so
yeah.
Better than that.
So yeah, I got the last remaining stitch that was still holding on out, and she went to clean it, and just blood started flowing again. She's like, "Holy crap, that's deep!" And so she's like, she was gonna stitch it again, and she's like, "Oh, you know, maybe we can do some glue on this." So she bio-glued it. She bio-glued it. So then today I'm in the shower.
It just starts cracking.
I get out of the shower and I'm drying things off, and I look, and like the hand had gotten wet enough that it had opened up. So the scab was just like sitting in the middle of this open wound again. So I was like, zoinks, and I pulled out this big old like scab like this big.
Nice.
And it's all open again. So I was like, oh well, dump some rubbing alcohol in it and strip it shut again.
Oh,
The doc was
Why
like,
just-
yeah, that's probably gonna take like a month to heal.
just because where it's at.
Where it's at and how
Cables and a microphone.
I dare you to stick it in a hockey glove.
Oh, God. I don't want to lose my hand before Jason.
You know what the great thing is? It's like, you know how Spider-Man could like shoot webs? You go, tss, tss. Like you could do that just with your hand with water. Like you get out of the shower, you go, you just go. Like if you were Dave Coulier, you'd have to like take a month off.
I could do it with platelets. Just fire some platelets.
Oh God. Can we get started?
Sure.
Hey Alexa, play the Like Drinking podcast.
I think this is all staying in the show. So we're 11 minutes in then at this point. All right, here we go. Thank you for joining us for the We Like Drinking Show, episode 164. In this episode, we'll be discussing double IPAs. So crack open your beer, uncork that wine, and let's get drinking.
The Illudium Q36 space modulator.
Oh, man, you've gotten somewhere when Alexa is a fan of the show and is all about some smoked whale testicles.
That was amazing, by the way. Thank you, Alexa.
Thank you, Alexa.
Everybody, run to your Alexas right now and try that. See what happens.
See, yeah, it's a great thing. Whole conversation had, and then quickly unplug her because they're recording everything you say. So, cheers, listeners, and welcome to episode 164. I'm kind of getting a lot of speaking in now because I think this is about as clear as it's going to get. So, every month we like doing our little drinking episodes where we give Patreons the option of what we're going to drink. This week it came down to the shittiest beer we could find or double IPAs. And double IPAs is the winner. I think the Patreons like it when we grease the wheels a little bit. The lube runs a little hot. Before we
they did us a favor this month.
Yeah, that's what it is. So before we get started on this, though, listeners, we'd love it if you would take a moment, pause the show, go out to iTunes, Apple Podcasts, whatever the heck you want to call it this week, and leave us a big fat 5-star review. Now there's extra incentive for it this week that I am just going to turn it over to Jeff Solomon because I've got to get into this double here. So Jeff.
I was going to say, I was so glad we have video here for our patrons because I just watch you totally whiff on opening your bottle right now. That was amazing. I've never seen an air ball opening a bottle of beer before, but you did it. You did it, man. Don't say that you can't do anything. You can, right?
I took my eyes off the prize.
Yeah. So look, normally this is the time where we ask you to go ahead and rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, also known as iTunes. And we definitely still want you to do that. But we really wanted to take a moment this week to give you some free stuff. That's right. Free stuff.
What?
Yeah, that's right. Remember last week, our friend Emma from Eco Vessel was on the show, and she was telling us all about these killer insulated beverage containers that are coming in all these different shapes and sizes, and they do all sorts of awesome stuff for you drinkers. If you want to keep your hot tea hot for 8 hours, they got you. If you want to keep your growler of beer ice cold on your table for 36 hours, they got you too. If you want to keep a bottle of wine at just the right temperature for your picnic, they friggin' got your back. Jeff, I got one of those in the mail just yesterday. It's beautiful. Along with those, the port wine tumblers. Ooh.
Are they pretty nice?
Oh, they're so nice. And they got little sippy cup lids. So, if you want to booze it up while you're taking your kids for a walk, they got your back.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. It looks like a coffee mug.
Yeah, I do have to say we're pretty stoked on the Eco Vessel. I'm sorry, the Eco Vessel. My goodness. We're pretty stoked on them, and we're also stoked to hear how many of you have already taken advantage of using the promo code WLD30 to get 30% off when you order at ecovessel.com. That's pretty awesome. But we've got something more for you this week, and I guess you could say for this month, because this month We Like Drinking is giving away 2 Eco Vessel bosses to our listeners. 64-ounce growler. I believe those come with the infusers too.
That's
Jeff?
correct.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, so you want to put some lemon in your water, or you want to put something else in something else. You can do that. They got your back, is what I'm trying to say. So look, if you want to get in on the action and try to get yourself one of these free Eco Vessels, go ahead and take a screenshot of your review of our podcast on your favorite podcast app. I know most of you listen to us on iTunes, so please, if you already left us a review there, go ahead and take a screen grab and share that with us on your favorite social media platform, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, and share it with us using the hashtag #EcoVessel. If you haven't reviewed us yet, get on it, whether it's on iTunes or any other app that you listen to us on. We want to see it. If you want to enter twice, review us on 2 different platforms. You want to enter 3 times? I think you get the gist. Just make sure whatever you review us on, get a screen grab and share it with us using that hashtag #EcoVessel. We are going to select 2 folks at random at the end of the month to receive an Eco Vessel. This contest is open all March long, so join us as we march our way to the top of the podcast ranks. Come and get your Eco Vessels with patented copper infusion today.
Wow.
I'm just really excited is what I'm trying to say.
Like, I'm going to go review our show and take a screen grab of it. So listeners, just, there's a little bit of explanations there. If you're wondering why we're making you do that kind of stuff. One, if you leave us a review on iTunes, we can't necessarily know who you are. So that's why we kind of have to need you to send it to us on a social media platform. And the other reason is that a lot of you think, rightfully so, that Apple Podcast as an application sucks and you don't want to install that stuff on your computer. So this gives you the different ways that you can do that. Then you connect with us on the socials. As a reminder to our Patreons out there that are sitting there going, what's the ups here? Patreons are automatically entered, so you don't have to do it. Now, if you do it, hey, that's 2 entries into the contest. So do with that what you will. All right. Anything else on the contest other than to go do it?
Dude, I'm just so excited because I'm sorry, John, for cutting you off. I was just thinking about how I'm certain we must have fans and listeners in other countries that might be listening to on these apps that we're not even certain about. Or like, honestly, when I look at iTunes, I'm looking at the US version of it. I'd love to see if there's just random international reviews that we have been missing this whole time. I want to see those things.
Yeah, man. So yeah,
man.
take a few moments out to get entered into this. These are really good products. We have no affiliation with EcoVessel other than we had Emma on the show. We did a review of one of their products, but these are some kick-ass products for insulating your drinks. So
imagine if they did pay us.
Right?
It'd be the EcoVessel hour.
Right.
Done.
But yeah, $55 is about what these things run for, I think. So it's a pretty good deal to get into. So
yeah, and if your first order is 30% off, that's $17 or something. That's now you're down to the mid 30s, and that's inexpensive for the quality you get.
Yeah, man.
They're pretty sweet, folks.
At this point, they're practically paying you to use their product. Practically.
Almost. They're hitting the price point that Jeff Solomon likes for his wines as well.
This is true, man.
All right. We're like 10 minutes in at this point, and we haven't even introduced who we're drinking with, let alone what we're drinking. So let's get to that. We've got our normal cast of characters. We've got the hype man, the pitch man, the wine blogger, Jeff Solomon.
I don't know if I'm okay with you calling me normal, but I guess I'll take it.
We've got our brewer, John Ruyek.
Hey, guys.
And I'm your host, Jeff Eccles. So let's get to this. Double IPA night. We're already behind. That should not be a surprise to anyone. Let's find out what we're drinking. Sorry, I was away from the microphone. Let's find out what we're drinking. Jeff Solomon, let's start with you.
My goodness. Well, already in my glass and being sipped periodically, I've got something that I think most folks would find, at least in California. You'd be able to find it anywhere. This is the Green Flash West Coast IPA. It's their double IPA with Simcoe, Columbus, Cascade, Centennial, and Citra hops, clocking in at 8.1% alcohol. I've also got a brewery that I'm not as familiar with. This is the Hop Concept, coming out of San Marcos, California. They just have it labeled as IPA, but this is hop forward with Citra and Simcoe, and it is clocking in at 8% alcohol. But so it doesn't matter what they call it. This is a double IPA. And to cap things off, the granddaddy of them all went down to my dealer on the corner and got me a bottle of Pliny the Elder double IPA coming out of Russian River Brewery at 8%. So I've got 8.1, 8, and 8% for all these. So we're hitting that note, ladies and gentlemen.
Excellent. And you're starting with the Green Flash, right?
Starting with the Green Flash in the purple label.
Nice. John.
I've got a squealer of Blizzard Tail Legless.
A squealer?
IPA. A squealer?
What's a squealer?
It's a half a growler. So
half a growler. Okay.
There we go. And let's see. I've got a Squatters Hop Rising Double IPA. That's out of Utah. The Legless is 8.5% ABV, 100 IBUs. The Squatters is 9% ABV with 72 IBUs. And also, maybe we'll see, got a Dogfish Head 120 minute.
Boom. Nice. I saw that one today, 12-ounce bottle for like $11.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. They didn't used to go for that much. I was like, what the hell?
So, that leads to a question I have, John. I guess I should walk through what I'm drinking first. First, I've got the Great Divide Hercules Double IPA. RateBeer.com, 100 freaking points.
Yeah, that's a good one
for this one. And that one's clocking in at a mere something or other. Thought it was 10. Maybe they didn't list it. Great radio here. It's clocking in at something. And then I've got this Stone Inevitable Adventure Double IPA. This is an 8.9 Double IPA with Laurel and Dr. Rudy hops.
I've had that one.
Wow.
So though I just got the two. Because I had to get a sixer of the Hercules. But John.
Yeah.
The Dogfish 120.
Yeah.
Is an imperial IPA.
Right.
And we're drinking double IPAs.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Is there any difference?
This is if you look at, and I want to backtrack on some things, folks, listeners, I talk about beer descriptions all the time, and they're a lot looser than wine varietals. There's room for interpretation throughout styles. And I'm watching a video from the American Brewers Guild because I do plan on attending that, and they have some interesting video lessons on stuff. And one of the first things the guy says, it's in the sensory perception video. He says, "Don't brew for contests, brew for your customers." So a lot of what happens is with brewers or in different places, there's different tastes throughout the country. So styles end up getting pretty broad. Maybe a brewer starts out wanting to do something in a particular style, and then it just works out that it tastes the best to move the lever one direction or the other that might take it out of quote unquote BJCP data points, ABV, IBUs, color, alcohol, all kinds of stuff. So anyway, you can look at all the BJCP descriptions of the beers that we discuss as far as styles go. But what I try to do is give people an idea of what actually is out there in the marketplace. Be that as it may, Imperial IPA, Double IPA, Extra IPA, they're all the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was going to say, first time ever, I looked at the BJCP before we came into one of these beer episodes. And there are not two separate descriptions for double and imperial. They're the same category. And they do mention, and you'll see this mention that, there's starting to become this blur between just a regular IPA and a double IPA at this point, because, if you're going to the style guidelines that were originating like in the early 1990s, John, to start classifying something as a double, it was starting at like 7%, typically between 7 and 9%. And so I intentionally was looking for, IPAs in that 8% range. I find it interesting that the only IPA that says double IPA on the label for me, actually its title is West Coast IPA, and then underneath it says double IPA. Pliny the Elder, it just says Pliny the Elder on it, but that is a classic double IPA. And then the folks at the Hop Concept, I think what we're doing is we're kind of playing around with intentionality in the same way that, in wine, there's not a difference between Pinot Grigio and Pinot Gris, except for what was the intent, at least as far as a domestic producer, what was the intent of the person with that grape. But I'm sorry, I don't care if you just say IPA on it. If it's 8%, it's a double IPA.
Yes.
I would envision that the Hop Concept also has something a little bit stronger that they call a double. you know. But it's a double.
Yeah, so BJCP style guidelines change all the time, and when you submit your beer to a contest, they have to tell you under which definition, what year definition that you're submitting that beer for. Um, and let's be frank, folks. I mean, most IPAs are 6.5. A double IPA isn't 13. A double IPA, it's a little bit of a misnomer. I think Imperial is a better description of it, frankly. There's ABV is going to be 7.5% to 10. But IBUs can be should be anywhere from 60 to 120. Not that anybody can taste the difference between 110 and 120. 110 is the limit of human perception of bitterness units. But the color should be pretty familiar to everybody. It should be that IPA, something that's a little darker than a pale ale, but it's not amber, although it can get kind of red in some examples. To me, frankly, next to Russian Imperial Stout, this is my favorite style of beer because it really ought to be more balanced malt-wise, alcohol-wise, bitterness-wise than even a regular IPA. Regular IPAs, to me, should be a little bit lighter on the palate, in the mouthfeel, not quite as sweet. But a double IPA and Imperials carry in a lot of IBUs, so there should be a good, strong malt background on it. So while it is really hoppy, you should have some balance out of it, and there should be some warmth, but you shouldn't taste the alcohol per se, but you should perceive that it's there, if you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And folks, this is a completely American construct in order to just make hoppy, high alcohol beers. I mean, this was there was no such thing as, double IPA, Imperial IPA 25, 28 years ago. There was just English IPA, English styles, and the West Coast style of IPA. And now there's the bastard child known as New England IPAs, which is a different conversation altogether. But
are those hazy mofos?
Yeah, those.
That's the one where that's the one where they add a little New England clam chowder to it.
And I don't know if you can see this on mine, but mine has just got so many floaters in it. Like, it is just, these things to me, the double IPAs are thick.
Yeah, and they should be, but not all of them. Lizard Tail's double IPA is 100 IBUs, and it's hoppy, but it's clear as a bell. So a lot of it depends on the hops that they use. Citra is a dirty hop. There's a lot of oil in Citra, and it just, when you make a beer that's got Citra in it, it looks murky, and you're like, oh my gosh, what did I do? And I think Simcoe is the same way. And I also will tell you that double IPA is generally a cursed beer, because I don't know anybody that successfully gets through a day brewing double IPA and something doesn't screw up. but there's so much sugar going on that it's and these things fire up quick with the yeast, and sometimes you'll get fermentation temperatures on these in the low 80s up into the 90-degree range while it's fermenting.
Cow.
And if you have the right yeast, it doesn't make those fusel alcohols. It doesn't produce those esters. So, it's not an easy beer to make. I mean, anyway, but they're tasty.
Is now the right time for us to maybe just real quick? I think we've got a good distinction between like your entry level IPA and your double IPA. When I almost feel like at this point, any IPA that I buy is really more in that double IPA range. And then as I compare them to like a triple IPA, I mean, that's when I'm really thinking like those mofos are thick. Those mofos are tacky. I get a whole lot more maltiness on a trip double dipple than the double.
IPA, a straight up IPA, regular West Coast IPA should be somewhere between 5.7 and I think 7.2% ABV.
Yeah.
And most of them are trending into the high sixes. And I think
Yep.
that's appropriate. 6.5, 6.7,
Yep.
7's getting up there. That's to some extent, I think IPAs should be kind of a session beer. Now, we're going to kind of session some doubles here, aren't we? But yeah, lines get blurred,
especially after all these.
Yeah, I hope I'm able to read my notes later. But
so let's do this.
Yep.
Yes, let's.
Solomon.
I think we got a good sense of them. So let's get into these, Jeff. Why don't you go ahead and get started with the green flash if you want to give us some quick tasting notes.
Yeah, so again, this is the Green Flash West Coast IPA. It is a double India Pale Ale, clocking in again at 8.1% alcohol. And what I do love about Green Flash, like they've got just really nice labels. I love how they're all just a slightly different color, but they all look the same. They're always laying out the hop profile on the side. So this again is Simcoe, Columbus, Cascade, Centennial, and Citra. And so when I hear John talking about Simcoe and Citra, these are showing up, I believe, in at least Simcoe in every single double that I am consuming tonight. This Green Flash right here, it's as I'm looking at it on the camera, it looks kind of golden here. It's more copper in person, and when the glass is fuller. On the nose, there's just this really musty, dank, pungent type of nose there. There are a few floral notes, a few like piney notes, but really this is like an earthy type of nose, like again going into like a wine type of situation. It almost has like a little like mushroomy Pinot Noir thing happening along with those really like zesty notes as well.
That should be from the Columbus. And tell me if you get any well, I'll ask you after you describe it.
This is definitely earthy, right? There are some piney notes that are unmistakable. There's a lot of citrus, like lemon, lime, grapefruit, juice, zest, and pith in there. Actually, the hops are very pithy, but explosive. Of all the myriad of double IPAs that I'll be tasting through tonight, this one has the biggest variety of hops that are being included, and so it really is hitting a whole lot of different notes. I will say that this is, although these resinous hops are sticking around, the profile of the beer itself is finishing rather clean. I'm not getting as malty of a backbone as John was describing, but I'm also, I am drinking 3 very West Coastian IPAs or double IPAs today, which might have a little bit to do with that. Like I almost feel like I've never had the Dogfish Head 120. I've had the 90, and I always think about that as being more malty and rich in the background by comparison. But yeah, I'm getting a nice clean finish, but those hops are lasting. Those vapors and those esters are sticking around. Good stuff.
Black pepper?
Ooh, little bit, yeah. I mean, along with that earthiness, with that mustiness, there is a little bit of spice there. And yeah, it is black. Well, now that you got me thinking about it,
yeah, that's why I waited.
There's a
Yeah,
lot
that's
of black
Columbus
pepper.
hops. Columbus hops. I love those things. They good backbone for dank beers.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the goods.
Nice. That sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah.
John, what are you starting out with there?
I'm starting out with this legless from Lizard Tail. It's kind of cheating because I know what Dan puts in this, right? So, but he uses a lot of warrior hops in this as base bittering, and that's a pretty clean bittering hop.
Hogan. Hulk Hogan.
As I walk into the arena. Sorry.
I also know he uses Azaka, so there's a lot of grapefruit notes in this one. So this one is, it's a Warrior Cascade Azaka. Oh, and there's a lemony thing to this one too. I like that. I didn't notice that before. But you could get that out of Azaka too. I know he dry hops Azaka in it, which is a very citrusy hop. Not quite as much as Citra. It's kind of dialed back a little bit from that, but it's a little more lemony, grapefruity. And all of Dan's beers are really clean, really super clean. So, this one's with a double IPA or an imperial IPA, it should be a whole mouth experience for that, not just a tasting on your taste buds type of deal. So, you should get some play all over the oral cavity there, and Dan's does that. I like that. And it sticks around, but it's not cloying. So there's he does mash this a little higher than a lot of his other beers, and not super high like you would like a Belgian or something like that. But so it's not tacky at all, but there is a lingering malt experience on this one. So, and it's lacing the glass very nicely. Look at that.
Nice.
Legless, eh?
Legless.
Ain't a legless lizard just a snake?
So,
there's a zoology question there for you, but yeah.
So on this Hercules double IPA, I did finally find it. It is rocking in at 10%. I definitely get the hoppiness on the nose. I get a little bit of the maltiness, and I get this. This is going to sound really weird, but I get this swimming pool chlorine kind of thing going on. It's not a negative, like it's not super chemically, but I don't know. It's just like there was just this awash over. I've just had this sense of getting out of the pool on a summer day, kind that kind of stank.
Is that John? Before you say anything, is that sulfur? Like, is that what you're thinking it might be? Like,
to me, that I know exactly what you're talking about.
And it's way deep in the nose. Like I'm having to fill my nose up to get it, and it's just this. It's not a real in my face kind of aroma. It's somewhat imperceptible, but it's definitely there. And once I got a whiff of it, now it's like that's all I keep going back to.
Well, give it a taste, and if it tastes like that, then
no, it doesn't. Not at all.
No. Okay.
Tastes like pool water.
So it is. Yeah. I'm when I picked it up, I'm not detecting it. It's not negative to me in the aroma because there's a lot of other aromas are there, and I'm having to kind of dig down to get this aroma out of there. And maybe it may just be the hops. But
one of the problems with maintaining hop aroma and flavor, for that matter, is the fact that CO2 is not friendly to hops. So if you have a well attenuated beer, it's medium body, and you got a fair amount of carbonation in it, CO2 reacts with hop oils, and it can be a pretty violent reaction. Don't ever add hops to an already carbonated beer unless you just want to just clean up beer for days, because it's going to foam out of the fermenter like there's no tomorrow.
Do I?
Yeah. Well, yeah, you'd be pretty disappointed if all of a sudden there was 100 gallons worth of beer on the floor because you wanted to dry hop something that was already carbonated. So I think I would imagine it's something along those lines.
Okay. On the palate, man, holy cow. This thing is so well balanced. Like, yep, there's the alcohol. Yep, there's the hops. Yep, it's everything is just across the board very well balanced. This isn't overly hoppy, although I detect the hops. I detect that malt. It's got a really nice body to it. It's very pleasant, and man, does it just hang out on the palate. It's just not going anywhere. But excellent job on this. I see why people rate this so high.
Double IPA it's harder to make and balance because people expect so much from it. They expect an
IPA, but more.
Bigger.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, take that complexity level and add another logarithmic layer to that or something like that.
Right, but it's not the bitterness that's doubled. That when
I think people are looking for bigger of a greater variety of flavor components. It's along the lines of a Russian Imperial Stout, where you're picking out easily 6 to 10 different flavor components in a Russian Imperial Stout just on the malts, and then maybe you're going to add another flavor component from CO2 and the hops. Where here in a double IPA, you've got a malt component, a CO2, carbonation component, and then you should get 5 or 6 taste components out of the hops. So it's a pretty fine balancing act, and it's a well-made one is a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Man, not to mention a conversation lubricator.
Very much so. Which is why all our tasting episodes are an hour and 15 minutes long. With that said, I want to take a little time out here, guys. We've been talking a lot about the IPAs, so I think for a second we should class this shit up and get into some grape hop or pop culture reference. So this is where I give these guys a term and they try to tell me if it's a wine grape, a beer hop, or a pop culture reference. Jeff Solomon.
Yes.
After last week's episode, did you go watch the video of Keegan winning the gold medal?
You know what? No, but I've been thinking about it. And I was like, what I did instead was I watched a bunch of Olympic coverage and I waited for them to show it again. And they never did. I saw women win the gold in hockey. I saw men's curling just dominate in the gold medal match.
Dude.
I love curling. If you love cornhole, if you love bocce ball, if you love horseshoes, curling's the best.
That 5-point end was insane.
So awesome.
But
yes,
the Olympics are over.
Yeah, that race, that cross country race, I both laughed and cried at the same
Dude,
time.
like I welled up a little bit, and when she crossed the scream that she let out, and that dude that had to be topless by the time he was done with that. Jeff, check out the show note. Check out for the show notes last week because I left a great link to it, so it's really easy for you to find.
Okay.
This week, though, the term is domina. So is domina a wine grape, a beer hop, or a pop culture reference? It is your turn to start, Jeff Solomon.
Domina.
That is correct.
And you know it's definitely pronounced domina.
I have absolutely no idea, and you know my skills at pronunciation.
There could be domina.
It could be. It could be Phil.
Who's feeding Phil?
I'm just gonna not tiptoe around this one. Domina sounds like it sounds Italian. Look at all those vowels.
Look at all those vowels.
So, and I know that Jeff loves big bold Italian wines. So I'm gonna say that Domina is a I'm going to say that Domina is a white Italian wine grape from southern Italy. It's Abruzzese.
There you go. All right. John Ruyak. Domina.
Well, Domina. Yeah, my first reaction was a wine grape. But I'm going to say it's a red varietal from
Domina.
Chile. It's Tuscan.
All right, so you're both going Italian red wine grape.
No, Solomon said white.
I said white.
Oh, he
I
said white. Yeah,
from
he said
southern
white.
Italy.
Okay. Domina is in fact a grape. So very well done, guys. It is a dark-skinned red wine grape out of Germany.
Oh,
Comes from a crossing of Blauer Portugieser and Spätburgunder, aka Pinot Noir.
okay.
Well done, guys. You got it. Well done.
Sorta.
Kind of. No, you got it. You got wine grape. So, all right. So at this point, we have a lot left to talk about. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to taste the rest of the beers, but it's going to be in an after party format. And we're going to move on with the show, and we are going to get into what's up. So what do we have our eyes on, or what do we have coming up? John Ruyak.
Well, talked about this a little bit before, but folks, don't forget you can get 30% off your first order at EcoVessel. Just use the code when you go to checkout, WLD30. WLD30.
Absolutely. Already heard from a few people that have done this order. Somebody saved over $30 on their order using this code. So big shout out to the folks that are using that code. We really appreciate it. And Jeff Solomon.
I am blown away. They saved over $30. That means they spent a lot of money too. That is so awesome. And they saved a lot of money.
Yes, they did.
Saved a lot of money. Hey, and again, don't forget that Eco Vessel contest. We are given these copper infused insulated beverage carriers. All you got to do is send us a screen grab of your review of our podcast in your favorite podcast app. Share it with us on your favorite social media platform using the hashtag #EcoVessel. Did I mention that they beat any competitor in terms of insulation?
You didn't.
And in spite of the patented copper-infused double-walled steel outline,
Trimax, just throw Trimax in there.
Trimax. In spite of what might seem like a more expensive process, it's cheaper on average than most of its competitors. So, and you save 30% with the WLD30. What I'm saying is, and we're giving 2 away.
You know what?
You've got a new career, is what I'm saying to you.
You talked about how long it can keep something hot. You talked about how long it can keep something cold. Don't forget, it will keep something at room temperature forever.
Smooth
Forever,
like
folks.
Butter. Smooth like butter. All right. I guess what's up should be brought to you by EcoVessel, but we just want to pimp it a bunch. Okay, so I've been toying with this idea for a long time, and I haven't pulled the trigger until right now. I'm announcing it right now. We have launched the We Like Drinking Tavern. So this is a private Facebook group that you are welcome to come join. Will be, this is just, it's an extension of the show, an extension of the stupidity that we do here, but a place for you to interact with us a little bit more, interact with a lot of the other listeners. We have opened it up today, so there may not be a whole lot of people when you listen to this, but get in now. We're looking to do a lot of fun things here. We're talking about possibly letting the Facebook group join in a way with the Patreons about picking what we drink on a monthly basis. Is a place for you to share what you're drinking. John, I'm sure, will come in and do some stories. A place to come in and give John a lot of shit about his stories. Some Herpin's probably going to sneak in there. I may show my open wound to Jeff and see if we can get him to pass out. Who knows what's going to happen at the tavern? So I'm excited about this. Oh yeah, go ahead, John.
What's the secret handshake to get in?
I'm not going to say that here. You have to be you have to be in the tavern to learn the handshake.
Oh, all right.
You okay with that?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. All right. So check it out. Visit welikedrinking.com/tavern to get straight to it. Or you can visit facebook.com /groups/we like drinking. But check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we hope to see you there. Anything else to add, guys?
I think we hired Alexa as a bouncer, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I'll say one thing.
Okay, here we go.
About the tavern. I'm looking forward to it, but I'll tell you what. You post some bullshit fake news memes in the tavern, we will bounce your ass, dude.
Memes are okay.
No, I'm talking about the fake news memes.
I know. Memes are okay.
Don't throw any shit in there like calling people crisis actors. I will F you up, dude. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's not the right. Yeah, that's not the right forum.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Thanks for that PSA, Jeff Solomon. So check us out. We hope to see you there. And if we're in the tavern and we're talking about Alexa bouncing people out, it must be last call. Time to clean house and lock the doors. So this is the part we're just going to talk about EcoVessel for. No, I'm just kidding. This is the part where we ask you all listeners to join in on the fun in some way, shape, or form. The first way probably the easiest is to find us on the socials. That would be at Facebook or at Instagram at We Like Drinking, or on Twitter at We Like Drinking 1. That's the number 1, not spelling out ONE or spelling WON. That's the number 1 added on the air. And there, Instagram and Twitter are probably the primary ones to really go follow us at. I'm just going to put it out there now. The Facebook page algorithm has taken a big old nosedive with the latest algorithm update. It's just not getting out there to you. So, unless you really put it as, I want to see everything that We Like Drinking says first, you're probably not going to see a lot of stuff on the Facebook, but like us because you love us, and then get over to Instagram and Twitter and check us out. Jeff Solomon.
Yeah, man.
Since you've been on the Apple Podcast Kick All episode, I may as well let you finish it off. If somebody wants to tell us something, what they think about us, how can they do it?
Yeah. Well, if you want to tell us what you really think, quit listening. No, look, what I'm saying is, no, one of the reasons why, full transparency, one of the reasons why we really want to push y'all to review our show is because we know that you have opinions, and those opinions really help us out. They help us out in terms of, crafting a better show. They also help us out in terms of, getting the word out to other folks. So taking a simple step like scrolling down to the bottom of what you're looking at on your podcast app right now, probably iTunes, is by giving us that fat 5-star review, leaving that or rating, leaving that honest review. Click subscribe while you're there. It really helps us out a lot, and we love passing on anything we can to you in terms of value, just because you bring so much value to us, and this really does help us. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. And John, hey, by the way, we did get another 5-star review this week.
Yeah.
Just putting that out there. John, if they're listening to the show and they're like, okay, I followed them on all the socials, I've given them an awesome review, and I just need to help these guys out more. What's the biggest way that our listeners can help us out?
The biggest way our listeners could help us out is if you just sent your tax refund to us through Patreon.
Well, there you go.
I mean, really, you could run the show by next week.
Absolutely.
How simple is that? No, but seriously, if we, hopefully you find some value in the information and the fun we bring you every week, and dig into that pocket, look in that dryer, check out the sofa cushions, and for as little as $1 per episode, you can get all kinds of extra crazy stuff. $1 per month, excuse me, $1 per month, you get all kinds of crazy stuff. So just check out We Like Drinking /Patreon.
WeLikeDrinking.com/pledge.
Pledge, that's right. You know what?
Close enough.
I've only done this 15 times. What?
www.aol.net/_forward_backwards.
Wait a minute. I think I've got one of those discs in my trash here.
Yeah, we really need your money. We need to buy more AOL installation discs.
Oh my goodness, that was a lot of fake news, false information that we apparently gave you, and so when we really wanted to sink in, and so to do that, we have a little bit we like to call "Wait, who subscribed?" where I give these guys a quote, and they try to tell me what it's from, and John tries to remember what year it is. All right, here we go. Two people in this one.
Are you going to change voices?
I am going to change voice. Hold on. Let me take one more drink and then I'll be ready to change voices. All right, here we go. You guys will know it after the first line, but let me finish, okay? Is Mr. Freely there? Who? Freely. First name, first initials, IP. Hold on, I'll check. Is IP Freely here? Hey, everyone, IP Freely. All right, so there's the quote. Let's see. Jeff, you started. So, John, can you tell me what that's from?
It sounds like the bald dude from The Princess Bride is what it sounds like to me.
Like, could you, like, John, honestly,
What?
dude, could you be any more pop culture, like, unaware?
No, I couldn't.
Can I? I'm looking for Miss Hug and Kiss. First name Amanda. Amanda Hug and Kiss. I'm looking for Amanda Hug and Kiss. What? Why are you laughing at me? Hey.
Keep looking, Mo. He'll find you one day.
It's
Jeff Sullivan.
Well, the great thing was, like, all those jokes existed before The Simpsons, but The Simpsons just made it so awesome. That's every prank call that you ever wanted to pull. Bart did a great job.
He did. Very good.
I'm glad you brought up like a Simpsons reference that everybody should know, and not like some dorky esoteric like, oh, remember in season 13 when Spinal Tap came back for the 4th time?
Moving on, you can also find the show notes for this episode with all the links to the stories or mentions we had at welikedrinking.com/podcast, or in John's world, welikedrinking.com/stuff on the internet. But it's, we've gotten to the time of the show where I get to say, okay, panel, let's take one last trip around this table and get some final thoughts before we shut off the lights. John Ruyak.
Oh, you know what? I just want to say thanks to Emma from Eco Vessel for the nice late Christmas present that I got in the mail the other day. That was pretty cool.
Thanks, Emma. Pretty cool. Thank you, Emma. Jeff Solomon.
I was just thinking, like, if the origins of Spider-Man took place in a brewery, and instead of being bit by a spider, he gets bit by a radioactive yeast cell, do you think that Peter Parker would have had the ability to detect 111 IBUs?
And I put this on Twitter today. There is a fantastic article by Som Beer today about IBUs and the whole 100 IBU and above. A very chemically nerdy read, Jeff Solomon and Jabber, that you guys may like.
Oh, hey, Jeff, I know you're about to say something, but can I say something first?
Absolutely.
Smoked whale testicles.
Oh, hold on. Oh, I wasn't ready for that at all. There it is. A little delayed. 10% alcohol delays you a little bit. And with that, I'll say thanks again for joining us at the We Like Drinking podcast,
where you'll never drink alone. See how like dry and cracked my knuckles are? Like,
dude, those are terrible.
I refused to put on lotion before we were doing this show because I
can't, because look at this. Look at this.
I wanted to taste it, and I didn't want to, like, every single beer, I didn't want to go like, smells like cocoa butter and glitter.
Oh, I'm glad I had not stopped the broadcast.